So now as you peer forward into the future, given some of the changes that you see having affected the field, what sort of advice would you give to students who are interested in the social impact career field as it relates to education?
Well, Middlebury is an extraordinary place, as we all know. And the educational background you receive from Middlebury provides all the tools necessary to be an asset in a social equity or education field. The question is, where do you want to plug in? Do you want to work on policy? Do you want to teach in a classroom? Do you want to work on mental health and counseling students? Do you want to provide educational leadership? We need good people in all of these spaces. We need people who can envision education not for what it has been, but for what it should be. We need thinkers, creative minds, and innovators in this field to come up with strategies to address the growing divide between the haves and the have-nots. And we need to cultivate educational frameworks that support all students. So, given the complexities of the field and the problems that we're addressing now and into the future, if you're interested in working with youth or in nonprofit organizations in the space that I'm working in, here's a few practical places you can, or steps you can take right now. One would be look into taking a mental health first aid class. There are options for youth and adults for this class, and the class is free, often free, and it's offered at many hospitals. I'm hoping they're offering this class via Zoom right now, so something to research. So many students have experienced trauma as a result of this crisis, and we need people who are equipped to help support children going forward. Another thing you can do is to learn about issues that people in poverty face. Look for a course or a workshop locally. You might call your United Way to see if they offer a course such as Poverty 101. It really sheds a light on the issues that people in poverty face every day and that we simply take for granted, many of us take for granted. Also, I would suggest that you volunteer. Volunteer for a nonprofit or for a school in your area. You can tutor, you can mentor a student. There's so much data around the impact of one person in a student's life that is a positive force for their change. So you can be that person. You can work for an after-school program. There's going to be a lot of needs this fall as schools adjust and come back to whatever that modality looks like. So you can plug in so many ways, and volunteering is a great way to do that. Another suggestion I would offer is to research educational policy and funding in your state, and attend a local board meeting if it's open to the public. Get involved and understand the issues that are facing your community. Research the people running for school board. What do they believe in? What are their priorities? And make sure that they match the priorities that you believe for yourself. So that those are some ways that I think you can, take action steps right now. And if you determine that this is an area that you want to pursue long-term, there are many degree programs that will help you gain a greater understanding and depth of knowledge around supporting and helping students in this space. So obviously a master's in education, a master's in school counseling, or social work, an MSW, a master's in nonprofit management. All of these degrees are worth considering if you're interested in working in this space.
Do you have any master's programs that you have any affection for?
Well, I personally went to the Harvard Graduate School of Education, and I followed a degree program called Administration, Planning, and Social Policy. It was a one-year program. It was very intense, and people from all over the country, I think their mission is to create leaders in education across the nation. And I really loved the program there. It was broad yet focused, and gave me a lot of great insight into where I would be working. Some of the courses I took included managing financial resources in nonprofit organizations, which I use that stuff every day now. I took classes on social change. I took classes on organizational behavior, on girls' education. It was really broad, and yet really just, it was such a thought-provoking master's program. I loved it.
As you reflect back upon all of your experiences, both undergrad, after you finished at Middlebury, during your graduate programs, after you finished those programs, into your working life, was there a moment, an experience that you had that changed things for you? I would say in a positive way, that helped invigorate you, energize your thinking, and motivate you even more to pursue the path that you have?
There are so many moments I can point to that helped me to, I guess, focus my path further. However, I've worked in education since I graduated from Middlebury, and I have worked in the independent school space for a lot of that time. And as we all know, those schools are excellent at providing fundamental education, foundations for kids, and just providing so many great opportunities. And I worked in the admissions space and enrollment space in those communities. And oftentimes I was the default person or ally for many of the students who were considered non-traditional to those communities. They came into my office seeking support and assistance, everything from, can you help my mom find a new job? She just got laid off. Or can you help me get a graduation dress? I don't know where to go for that. Or I need some soccer cleats so I can play next season. And those kinds of impacts that I could make in real time meant something to me, and meant that I could support students in a more meaningful way, and eventually led me to the Challenge Foundation, where I now work, where I can do that every day. And I was with a student the other night, and she said to me, Kelly, you are, I don't know what I would have done without Challenge Foundation. She said, I feel like I won the lottery. And I really feel like I have been profoundly changed by the impact you've made on my life. And she said, what other scholarship organization do you know of that will help you find contacts for so you can see better in the classroom? What other scholarship organization do you know of that's going to help you get a ride to school when your mom has to work late or late into the morning, on a night shift? So she said that that was just really meant something to me. And I think that if anyone has motivation to work in this space, that wants to make a change, you can make a change as one person. Right now, the problem seems almost insurmountable across our country. And yet, as one person, I have hope for our future, because I look at the young people with whom I work every day, and I know their motivations and I know their drive to succeed. And that's what keeps me going every day.
We've been speaking with Kelly Holley, Chief Operating Officer of the Challenge Foundation. Kelly, I really want to thank you for the perspectives you shared with us in terms of the current environment that you're having to work within, but also your outlook for the future. Very hopeful, very optimistic, and I share your optimism. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. It was great to be here.